We didn't know much about Kamala Harris's housing policy until recently. During her time as California's Attorney General, we knew that she won a battle with Jamie Dimon over a settlement for homeowners after the great financial crisis. Additionally, we were aware that she was very Californian when she proposed the Rent Relief Act while serving as a senator. Then there is Donald Trump, a real estate tycoon who you might think was all in favor of deregulation, but it isn't entirely clear where he stands on housing either. The economy matters in a political race here. However, despite the fact that the economy appears to be in good shape on paper, people continue to believe otherwise. Housing may be to blame. Individuals can't bear to purchase homes. It's everything from high mortgage rates to high home prices. Therefore, presidential administrations can have an impact on everything, regardless of how policy issues are distributed among governors, mayors, and wealthy neighborhoods. On housing, Kamala Harris presented her strategy for the housing industry on Friday. Harris is running for vice president and is the Democratic candidate for president. From urging the construction of 3 million houses by providing tax incentives to builders who construct affordable rentals and starter homes, to a $40 billion federal housing construction fund, to the reusing of a few government terrains and cutting the formality, it's by and large present, and that's just the beginning. On the battlefield, she promised to end the nation's lodging emergency, filled by a setback of homes. On the day she presented her economic plan, Harris stated in North Carolina, "We will end America's housing shortage by the end of my first term." Michael Lenz, a professor of urban planning and public policy at the University of California, Los Angeles, stated to Fortune that Harris's housing plan, a lot like what I would write down as a wish list for addressing housing affordability in this country. It starts with the obvious problem over the long term, barriers to land use and zoning. Still, she doesn't say much about how she plans to get local governments on board, or how she will deal with policies that have made it hard to build housing in some parts of the country for decades. Also, California alone necessitates to foster more than 2 million homes before this decade's over, as per Gov. Gavin Newsom's office. Even though Lenz described her priorities as obvious and appropriate, 3 million homes across the country by the end of her first term, roughly at the end of the decade, may not be sufficient. Although Harris's plans can be understood as means of increasing supply, they are not the only part of her strategy. First, she has stated at previous campaign events that she wants to take on corporate landlords. The problem is that Wall Street is not entirely to blame for the housing crisis in the nation. There are, obviously, metropolitan regions where the presence of institutional landowners is more noticeable and can be an issue. However, Focal Point proposed her advantage in corporate property managers is less proof-based and shouldn't really be her most noteworthy concern. Brian Kaplan, a teacher of financial matters at George Bricklayer College and the creator of Fabricate Child Construct, her use of corporate landlords as a scapegoat was criticized by the science and ethics of housing regulation as very bad.